The mystery of the Sandown clown. In May of 1973, two children in the Isle of Wight experienced an encounter so bizarre and unexplainable that it continues to puzzle researchers to this day. The entity they met called itself Sam, and it was unlike anything they had ever seen before. Described as a strange mix between a clown, an alien, and a robot, Sam was an entity that defied all logical explanation. His appearance, behavior, and means of communication suggested something far beyond what conventional science could understand. The encounter remains one of the most mysterious and unexplained cases in paranormal history. The two children were exploring a wooded area near Sandown, a small seaside resort, when they first saw the mysterious figure. Sam was tall and thin, with a strangely proportioned body and an oversized round head. His face appeared to be crudely painted on, with blue triangular eyes, a rectangular brown nose, and an oval-shaped yellow mouth that did not move when he spoke or ate. His hair was thin, frizzy, and reddish-brown, hanging limply from under his oddly shaped hat. The hat itself was tall and pointy and seemed to be part of his overall costume-like appearance. His skin was pale, almost paper-like, and his hands and feet each had only 3 digits. Adding to his strangeness, Sam had wooden antennae protruding from his wrists and ankles, and 2 more just above his ears. His attire was equally peculiar, a frilly green and red suit with a high collar, dark blue gloves and bare feet. The entire ensemble made him look like a character from a surreal dream rather than a real being. But despite his peculiar appearance, he was not aggressive or frightening. Instead, he was curious, gentle, and willing to communicate. When the children approached, Sam spoke, but not through his mouth. Instead, his voice came from a small speaker system, which also emitted occasional siren-like sounds. His speech was clear but robotic, and when asked if he was human, he immediately said no. When questioned if he was a ghost, his response was cryptic. "Well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way." His response left the children with more questions than answers, making it unclear whether Sam was from another world, another reality, or something entirely different. Sam revealed that others like him existed on Earth, but they were afraid to interact with humans. He did not elaborate on why, nor did he provide details about where they came from or what their purpose was. The children watched in astonishment as Sam removed his hat, revealing a balding, white-scalped head with the same paper-like texture as his skin. Then, in what was perhaps the most surreal moment of the encounter, he performed a bizarre trick. He took a berry, placed it in his ear, and then lurched forward, causing it to reappear out of his eye socket. He repeated the process again, this time successfully swallowing the berry. The children were both fascinated and unnerved by the sight, as it seemed to defy the normal workings of a human body. Throughout the encounter, Sam remained vague in his answers. He seemed to be aware of many things, but unwilling or unable to provide clear information. The children continued asking him questions, trying to understand what he was, where he came from, and why he was there, but they received only cryptic responses. After a while, the children decided to leave. Still trying to make sense of what they had just witnessed, they ran into a groundskeeper and told him their story. Instead of taking them seriously, the man laughed off their claims, dismissing it as a product of overactive imaginations. The children were discouraged and chose not to speak of their experience for several weeks. Eventually, they shared their strange encounter with their father, who took them back to the location of their meeting with Sam. However, there was no sign of him or the hut he had been in. As news of their bizarre experience spread, the British UFO Research Association began an investigation into the case. Despite their efforts, they could find no physical evidence of Sam's existence beyond the children's testimony. No other witnesses came forward, and no trace of the being, his hut, or any related anomalies were ever found. Even without tangible evidence, the story of Sam the Sandown Clown remains one of the most perplexing encounters in paranormal and UFO history. Unlike many mysterious sightings, Sam did not behave aggressively, nor did he seem to have any ill intent. He was strange, mysterious, and undeniably unearthly, but he was also gentle and playful, speaking with the children rather than scaring them away. To this day, the encounter remains unexplained. Those who study high strangeness cases believe Sam's encounter fits into a broader pattern of otherworldly visitations, where beings that do not fit into traditional categories of extraterrestrials or ghosts appear briefly, interact with humans, and then vanish without a trace. Whether Sam was an alien, an advanced being, a lost entity from another reality, or something beyond human understanding, one thing is certain: the encounter left a lasting impression on the children who experienced it. Their testimony remains consistent, and no evidence has ever surfaced to debunk their claims. The mystery of Sam the Sandown Clown endures, continuing to captivate researchers and those fascinated by the unknown. 3 men vanished from 3 separate hospitals at different times, yet each was later discovered deceased on the roof space of their respective hospitals. In 2017, a 61-year-old man named Teteteki Kotsi was admitted to Stellenbosch Hospital for abdominal surgery. Due to his condition, he was unable to walk without assistance. He was under the care of the hospital staff, and one day, while a nurse stepped away momentarily to retrieve clean linen, Kotsi mysteriously vanished. When the nurse returned, he was nowhere to be found. A missing persons case was immediately opened, and his family was informed of his disappearance. Both hospital staff and police conducted thorough searches of the hospital grounds, yet there was no trace of him. His disappearance confounded authorities, as he had limited mobility, making it highly unlikely that he could have simply walked away unnoticed. 2 weeks later, construction workers at the hospital made a disturbing discovery. His lifeless body was found in the rafters of the hospital, in a secluded and remote section of the building. How he had ended up there, or what caused his death, remained a mystery. 2 years later, a similar and equally baffling case occurred at Mahatma Gandhi Hospital, located in a different province. A man named Sandile Sibia, who worked in construction, suffered a broken femur and required medical attention. After being examined, doctors at Mahatma Gandhi Hospital determined that he would need to be transferred to a higher-level hospital for surgery. His family visited him while he awaited his transfer, and he appeared to be in stable condition. However, on the day he was scheduled for transfer, he suddenly disappeared without a trace. A search ensued, involving hospital personnel, police, and his family, but no clues to his whereabouts were found. The case took a macabre turn when, 2 weeks later, hospital staff noticed a leaking substance seeping through the storeroom ceiling. The smell was overpowering, prompting an investigation. Authorities were called in, and to their shock, they discovered Sibia's decomposing body in the ceiling of the storeroom. How he managed to get there, or why he would attempt to access the ceiling, remained unanswered questions. Once again, there was no logical explanation for how a bedridden patient had ended up hidden within the hospital's infrastructure. The pattern of these eerie hospital disappearances does not end with Gotzi and Sibia. In the book Autopsy by Professor Blumenthal, the author recounts a similar case. He describes an unidentified man suffering from a chest condition who vanished from a large academic hospital. Like the other 2 cases, this man was eventually found dead in the rafters of the hospital. What made this case even stranger was that a cigarette butt was found near his remains, suggesting that he may have been there for some time before succumbing to unknown circumstances. The professor's location in a different province, combined with the fact that neither Kotsi nor Sibia were admitted to an academic hospital, suggests that this may be a third, separate case, reinforcing the possibility of a larger pattern. These 3 incidents, though occurring in different hospitals and different provinces, share eerily similar details. Each involves a patient who mysteriously disappears, only to be discovered weeks later in the rafters or ceiling of the hospital. The circumstances defy explanation, as all 3 men were physically impaired or too weak to move to such inaccessible locations on their own. Additionally, the lack of surveillance footage or eyewitness accounts deepens the mystery surrounding these events. Some have speculated that there could be an unknown individual or force involved in these cases. If foul play were at work, why were these bodies found in such unusual locations rather than being disposed of in a more typical manner? The lack of external injuries on the bodies also suggests that none of the men were forcibly dragged or moved, making the events even more perplexing. Despite thorough investigations, authorities have not provided definitive explanations for these cases. Hospital security measures have since been re-evaluated, yet the true cause behind these deaths remains a complete mystery. The cases of Teteteki Kotsi, Sandilisibia, and the unidentified man from the academic hospital are haunting reminders that, even in controlled environments like hospitals, unexplainable events can occur, leaving more questions than answers. The mystery of the California creature. The California creature remains one of the most bizarre and unsettling discoveries in recent history. In November of 2015, a woman named Gianna Paponis stumbled upon a strange, unidentifiable carcass in Los Angeles, California. The creature's appearance was unlike anything seen before, immediately sparking speculation about its origins. Its bizarre anatomy and unusual features left experts and locals alike searching for answers, yet to this day, no definitive explanation has been found. The creature's body was distinctly unnatural, resembling a bipedal entity with two long legs that ended in hoof-like stumps. Its skin was pink and moist, giving it an almost fetal appearance. Perhaps the most unsettling feature was its elongated, thick neck, which led to a round, spherical head. The head contained thin blue eyes and a deformed mouth, adding to the unsettling nature of the discovery. The creature's overall structure did not match any known species, leaving many to question whether it was a biological mutation, an unknown cryptid, or something far more otherworldly. The timing of the discovery only fueled speculation further. Around the time Gianna Paponis found the mysterious carcass, residents of Los Angeles reported a wave of UFO sightings. Many eyewitnesses described seeing strange lights in the sky, some of which were captured in photographs and videos. Given this unexplained aerial activity, theories quickly emerged that the California creature could be linked to extraterrestrial phenomena. Some speculated that the creature was a failed genetic experiment, while others believed it was an extraterrestrial being left behind after a UFO encounter. Attempts to identify the carcass have been met with conflicting opinions. Some experts initially suggested that the creature could be a deformed animal, possibly from a goat or another livestock species. However, this theory failed to account for the creature's bipedal structure, its oddly shaped skull, and its distinctly humanoid features. Others proposed that it was a previously unknown mutation, but no scientific analysis was conducted to confirm its origins. Without a formal examination or conclusive identification, the California creature remains a mystery. The mystery of the Kentucky meat shower. The Kentucky meat shower remains one of the strangest and most baffling mysteries ever recorded. On March 3, 1878, an event unlike anything before or since took place in Olympia Springs, Kentucky, where large chunks of meat inexplicably rained from the sky. Witnesses at the time reported that the mysterious meat fell for several minutes between 11 and 12, scattering across a wide area of farmland. The pieces varied in size and shape, with some as small as a few inches in diameter, while others were significantly larger. The incident shocked locals and became an instant mystery that puzzled scientists and researchers for years. At the time of the event, the sky was described as clear and cloudless, eliminating any chance that the meat had fallen from a passing storm or airborne explosion. Early reports described the meat as fresh and moist, as if it had just been torn from an animal. Some witnesses, curious to identify the strange phenomenon, even tasted the meat. According to their descriptions, the pieces had a texture similar to mutton or venison, leading to speculation that it could have come from deer, horses, bears, or even humans. These early eyewitness accounts only added to the growing mystery, as no logical explanation for the event seemed to fit. Scientific attempts to explain the Kentucky meat shower led to the now famous vulture theory. According to this hypothesis, a large group of vultures may have been feeding on a carcass when they were startled mid-flight, causing them to bring up their partially digested meal over the area. Vultures have been known to regurgitate food as a defense mechanism, particularly when frightened or disturbed. If a flock of these scavengers had been flying overhead, their simultaneous regurgitation could have created the bizarre illusion of meat falling from the sky. While this explanation is the most widely accepted, it has never been conclusively proven, and the exact source of the meat has never been identified. Adding to the mystery, samples of the meat were collected and examined by scientists of the time. Analysis revealed conflicting results, with some experts believing the meat resembled lung tissue, while others concluded that it was cartilage or muscle fiber from an unknown animal. Despite multiple studies, there was never a definitive answer as to what type of flesh had fallen from the sky that day. The Kentucky meat shower remains an unexplained event, with no confirmed cause or scientific agreement on what truly happened. Over a century later, the incident continues to baffle historians and researchers, leaving behind one of the most bizarre and unsettling mysteries in American history. The mystery of the carnivorous pink cloud. The carnivorous pink cloud is one of the most bizarre and unsettling phenomena ever reported. For centuries, residents near the Tomoka River in Daytona, Florida, have spoken of a strange pink mist that appears without warning, consuming wildlife and even people who come into contact with it. This mysterious cloud, described as having a soft pink hue, has been blamed for numerous animal deaths and even the disappearances of local residents. Despite its long history of sightings, no definitive explanation has ever been provided for its origins or nature. The first recorded sighting of the carnivorous pink cloud dates back to 1605, when Spanish explorer Álvaro Mexia reportedly encountered the strange phenomenon. In his journals, Mexia wrote about a peculiar mist that he and his men saw rising from the swamps surrounding the Tomoka River. According to his account, the cloud moved unnaturally, floating in the air as though it possessed some kind of intelligence or purpose. When wildlife ventured too close, they would suddenly collapse, their flesh seemingly dissolved by the mist. Mexia's men, fearing for their lives, avoided the area entirely. His accounts became the first historical documentation of what would later be known as the pink cloud. Over the centuries, locals have reported similar encounters. Hunters and fishermen have spoken of seeing animals inexplicably dissolve after wandering too close to the strange pink fog. Those who have come into close contact with it and survived describe a burning sensation in their lungs, similar to inhaling toxic fumes. The disappearances of local residents have also been attributed to the mysterious cloud, as several individuals have gone missing near the Tomoka River, never to be seen again. The lack of physical evidence has made these cases nearly impossible to investigate, further deepening the mystery. Some scientists and skeptics have attempted to rationalize the phenomenon by suggesting that the carnivorous pink cloud is simply a toxic gas release from the swamplands. Florida's dense marshes are known to produce natural gas emissions, including methane and hydrogen sulfide, which can be harmful to both humans and animals. These gases can sometimes take on strange colors when mixed with certain atmospheric conditions, giving rise to the eerie pink glow reported by witnesses. However, this explanation fails to account for the cloud's aggressive movement, as swamp gas does not actively chase animals or dissolve flesh upon contact. Adding to the mystery, residents of the area have also reported seeing a glowing orb of light that follows vehicles along Tomoka Road. Though initially assumed to be connected to the pink cloud, the orb appears to be a separate phenomenon. Witnesses claim the light behaves with intent, zigzagging through the trees and even pacing cars as they drive. The orb has been sighted for decades, leading some to believe that Tomoka River is home to multiple unexplained phenomena rather than just the carnivorous pink cloud. Despite the many theories and local legends, the true nature of the pink cloud remains unknown. If it were merely a natural gas emission, it would likely have been scientifically documented by now. However, the reports of it actively dissolving flesh and even chasing animals suggest something far more sinister. Some researchers believe the cloud may be an unknown atmospheric phenomenon, while others speculate it could be a biological entity, something that feeds off organic material in an unknown way. There is also the unsettling possibility that the pink cloud is not a natural occurrence at all. Some have suggested that it may be linked to something otherworldly, perhaps even an extraterrestrial force that occasionally manifests in the area. The lack of any clear scientific explanation, combined with centuries of consistent eyewitness reports, makes it difficult to dismiss the phenomenon entirely. The mystery of the carnivorous pink cloud continues to fascinate and terrify those who hear about it. While many dismiss it as legend, the pattern of missing animals, dissolved remains, and unexplained disappearances suggests that there may be some truth to the accounts. Whether it is a strange natural occurrence, a yet undiscovered life form, or something more mysterious, the pink cloud of Tomoka River remains one of Florida's most chilling unsolved mysteries. The mystery of Jackie Sutton. Jackie Sutton, an enthusiastic ex-BBC journalist, dedicated her efforts to assisting local journalists in conflict-ridden regions while working as the director for the Institute of War and Peace Reporting. Jackie Sutton, aged 50, arrived in Turkey from London on a flight at approximately 10 in the evening in October 2015. The departure time for her connecting flight to Iraq was planned for 12:15. According to reports, Jackie spent a period of time in the cafe, casually consuming a beer, and allegedly dozed off. At approximately 12:30, Jackie approached the counter without showing any signs of worry, only to be informed that she had failed to catch her flight. According to reports, she abruptly burst into tears and exclaimed that she lacked the funds to cover the cost of another ticket. However, she was informed that there were no available solutions to her predicament. Subsequently, the story takes a highly peculiar twist. Jackie was observed entering the bathroom, and shortly thereafter, 2 Russian women emerged from the bathroom displaying visible signs of panic. The reason for this is that they discovered Jackie Sutton, who was in one of the lavatory cubicles. While certain individuals have accepted the events that happened, others hold the belief that there must have been some form of malicious intent involved. According to her acquaintances, she was a highly joyful and enthusiastic individual who would never take her own life, particularly over a little issue like missing a connecting flight. Furthermore, it was discovered that Sutton possessed a sum of €2,300 in her suitcase, contradicting her claim of insufficient funds to purchase an additional ticket. The disappearance of Gordon White. Gordon White, a 78-year-old individual, was last observed in Idaho on June 10, 2020. The individual's most recent sighting involved operating his all-terrain vehicle within his own land at approximately 4 in the afternoon. Gordon White resided at the address of Dent Bride Road in Orofino, Idaho, when he went missing. He experienced dementia, with his state deteriorating shortly before he went missing. Gordon White was last observed operating his ATV on his property, and during this time, he departed without his wallet and mobile phone and has not been seen or contacted since. That nightfall, friends and residents embarked on a hunt for him, but their efforts proved fruitless. At around 11 in the evening, he was officially declared missing by the Clearwater County Sheriff's Office after he did not come back to his residence. At approximately 4:45 in the morning on June 11, 2020, officials discovered Gordon's deserted all-terrain vehicle on his premises. The vehicle remained undamaged, with a sufficient amount of fuel in the tank, but Gordon's whereabouts were unknown. A thorough investigation of Gordon's property and the surroundings was carried out, utilizing 6 canine units, motorcycles, a helicopter, and a large number of volunteers. However, no additional evidence regarding his location has been discovered. Following an extensive 11-day search, the Clearwater County Sheriff's Office decided to halt their search operations. The whereabouts of Gordon Bruce White remain a mystery. The mysterious disappearance of Cynthia Bartru. Cynthia Bartru, formerly known as Cynthia Alvoyd, was born on July 4, 1981. She has 2 adolescent sons. Hailing from Omaha, Nebraska, she relocated to Texas in the early 2000s and held a position as a substitute teacher. In 2021, Cynthia was experiencing a divorce with her separated husband. She resided with her eldest son in her residence, situated in Crowler, Texas. The younger son was residing with his father in Fort Worth, which is approximately a 20-minute distance. Cynthia Bartru was last observed on February 3, 2021, at around 10:35 in the evening at a Shell petrol station located in East Kreiner Street in Grandview, Texas. This location is approximately 26 miles to the south of her residence in Crowley. Cynthia has been missing since that night, and there has been no communication from her. Upon being unable to establish communication with Cynthia, her family reached out to her estranged husband, who informed them that Cynthia was hospitalized. Upon the family's request, the hospital was contacted, and a nurse confirmed that she was not present. Subsequently, the family proceeded to approach the authorities. Cynthia's family notified the Crowley Police Department of her disappearance on February 6, 2021. Cynthia Bartru was recorded by a surveillance camera strolling near the Shell petrol station on the night she went missing, and according to multiple witnesses, her behavior was somewhat peculiar. Cynthia's shiny blue Mazda with a Texas license plate was discovered abandoned on February 16, 2021 on Interstate 35 in Waco, Texas. This location is approximately 1 hour away from the Shell petrol station in Grandview. A state policeman discovered the truck at approximately 2:35 in the morning, just after a record-breaking snowstorm covered the entire state of Texas in ice and snow from February 11th to February 20th. The battery was depleted and the keys remained within. Authorities began a thorough search in the vicinity of the vehicle, which was situated in a remote area of McLennan County, characterized by abundant crops and barns. However, no traces of Cynthia Bartru were discovered. As per her relatives, she was not acquainted with anyone in Waco, Texas. The precise details of Cynthia Bartru's disappearance are still unknown, and her case is presently categorized as a missing persons case. The Find Cynthia Coalition is offering a reward of $50,000 for any information that leads to the discovery of Cynthia. The disappearance of Mamta Part. Mamta Part, a 28-year-old woman, was last seen by her spouse at their home in Manassas Park, Virginia, on July 31, 2024. Mamta Part hails from Nepal, and in 2021 she relocated to the United States and resided in Virginia, where she shared accommodation with a roommate. Subsequently, she entered into matrimony with Naresh Bhatt, and the pair have an 11-month-old daughter. She worked as a pediatric nurse at UVA Health Prince William Medical Center in Manassas. Mamta Bhatt was last observed by her colleagues at UVA Health on July 27th. On July 28th, she attempted to contact one of her female acquaintances via telephone. However, her friend was occupied at the moment and was unable to answer or return the call. Mamta was last observed by her spouse at their residence in Manassas Park, Virginia, on July 31st. Mamta failed to appear for her subsequent workday at the hospital and has since remained uncontactable. On August 2nd, officials conducted a welfare check at Mamta's apartment in response to a notification from one of her colleagues. They engaged in conversation with her spouse, although he remained silent regarding her disappearance. On August 5th, Mamta's husband submitted a report to the Manassas Park Police Department, stating that she was missing. Naresh Bhatt, Mamta's spouse, told the authorities that his wife had departed from their residence on 2 occasions, but she consistently came back after a little period. Mamta didn't own a car, and officials are uncertain about the presence of her mobile phone. Authorities launched a search for Mamta in the forested region surrounding her home, which included Blooms Park, situated approximately half a mile away. Mamta frequently visited this park with her infant daughter. The police are conducting an investigation into Mamta's case as a potential instance of involuntary disappearance. Her acquaintances visited the Embassy of Nepal in Washington, D.C. to seek assistance from Nepali authorities in the United States and overseas in locating Mamta. The details surrounding Mamta Bhatt's disappearance are mysterious, and her case is presently categorized as a missing persons case. The mysterious disappearance and reappearance of Stephen Kubaki. It's the winter of 1978 in the American Midwest, and Stephen Kubaki, a student from Hope College, is taking advantage of the last days of February before spring begins to go skiing. He leaves his student digs to go on a solo cross-country skiing trip. Kubaki was an accomplished outdoorsman who climbed mountains in Europe and was an avid cross-country skier. Familiar with the area, this was an ordinary weekend pursuit for Kubaki and to those at college who knew him. However, this small excursion would end up being far from ordinary. Several days later, the alarm was raised when Kubaki failed to return from what should have been a day's activity. At the same time, snowmobilers on the southeastern shore of Lake Michigan had come across a set of abandoned skis and ski poles. The police knew immediately who they belonged to. A search party was sent out, utilizing both land and air rescue, with helicopters and locals deployed to find Stephen. Only 2 more things were subsequently discovered: Stephen's backpack and his footprints in the deep frozen snow. However, there was something off about the scene. The backpack looked as if it had been abruptly thrown to the ground, and the heavy footprints disappeared into nothingness, as if Kubaki had walked out of reality. Looking to close off the case with a sense of logic, police figured a more rational explanation. Close to the shores of frozen Lake Michigan, Stephen must have removed his skis and wandered too close to the water, falling through the ice and drowning in the watery depths below. His friends grieved, his family mourned, and life returned to normal as the months passed by. That is until, 15 months later, Stephen Kubaki walked straight through the door of his family house, over 500 miles away. Stephen told his recollection of events as best he could. That day, May 5, 1979, he woke up on a grassy knoll in Massachusetts, some 700 miles due east from where he disappeared. He was wearing clothes that were not his, had items such as maps and signs that were neither his nor written by him, and he had no concept of the amount of time that had passed. It was only when he was able to purchase a newspaper he would realize that he had re-emerged to consciousness 15 months later than when he first set off. The last thing he remembered before this was striding forwards on his skis, and he made his way around Lake Michigan. Before he knew it, however, he experienced a momentary blip, being enveloped in a cold and frozen darkness that hurried him from one point to another, which felt like he was running. Aside from this, he had no other details to give. And yet the mystery of what happened that day in February 1978 was perhaps less about Kubaki and more about where he was. Urban myths run rife that Lake Michigan is home to cross-dimensional disappearances, and oddly enough, it's not just Kubaki who went missing in this area. Ships, planes, and other people have all disappeared, and for whom there was never any trace of again. As of today, Kubaki's disappearance and reappearance remain a mystery. The mysterious phone call and disappearance of Brandon Swanson. In the early hours of May 14, 2008, Brandon Swanson, a 19-year-old student from Minnesota, vanished without a trace after calling his parents for help following a minor car accident. What began as a routine call for assistance soon turned into a baffling mystery that has perplexed investigators, haunted his family, and captivated those who have followed the case. Despite extensive searches and numerous theories, the disappearance of Brandon Swanson remains unsolved, leaving behind a series of questions that may never be answered. On May 14, 2008, Swanson embarked on a celebration with friends to mark the conclusion of that year's classes. That evening, he participated in 2 local meetings. The first one took place in Lind, which is close to his home in Marshall. The second event was in Canby, around 35 miles away from his home. Swanson departed from Canby after midnight to drive home, a journey he often undertook as part of his daily commute to and from school. However, on that particular night, rather than opting for the most efficient route between Canby and Marshall, which is Minnesota State Highway 68, Swanson decided to go through less traveled rural farmland roads, possibly with the intention of evading law enforcement. Regardless of his motives, he quickly encountered difficulties. Swanson's vehicle swerved off the road and ended up in a ditch adjacent to an agricultural field. Due to the high position of the car's wheels, it was unable to gain sufficient traction to reverse out of the ditch. At approximately 1:54 in the morning, Swanson contacted his parents to request transportation back to his residence. He informed them that he was in close proximity to Lind, around 10 minutes away from their residence in Marshall. Swanson's parents departed to retrieve him, maintaining their connection to the conversation while driving. However, upon arrival, they encountered only complete darkness. Emotions escalated into the early hours as irritations intensified. Swanson terminated the call at a certain moment. Upon receiving a call from his mother, Swanson's parents were informed that he would just retrace his steps towards his friend's residence in Lind. Swanson's father left his wife at home and proceeded towards Lind, maintaining a phone conversation with his son. While traversing through the darkness, Swanson proposed that his parents rendezvous with him in the parking lot of a renowned nightclub in Lind. He then opted to take a more direct route by traversing a field. Swanson's father perceived the sound of his son's footsteps, but immediately after this, the phone call ended. It would be the final utterance that anyone heard from Brandon Swanson. Despite his parents' persistent attempts to reach him, Swanson's phone constantly redirected their calls to voicemail. Throughout the entire night, Swanson's parents, along with assistance from his friends, fruitlessly combed across the vast expanse of gravel roads and farms in the rural area. At 6:30 the following morning, Annette, Brandon's mother, contacted the Lind Police Department to inform them that her son was not present. The police stated that Swanson, being a teenage college student, was not unusual for a young adult to be out all night after completing college classes. As the passage of time continued without Swanson's reappearance, local law enforcement personnel ultimately joined the search and then called for a search response over the entire county. Swanson's phone remained operational, and law enforcement used triangulation to determine the precise location of his final call by identifying the closest mobile tower. Porter was located approximately 20 miles from Swanson's original location. The police focused their search efforts to the vicinity surrounding Porter, and later that day, they discovered Swanson's green Chevy Lumina sedan. The vehicle was trapped in a trench located on Lyon-Lincoln Road, namely between Porter and Taunton. However, law enforcement officials could not discover any evidence of criminal activity or the presence of Swanson. A comprehensive search, utilizing police canines, aerial surveillance, and a large number of volunteers, commenced. The canine team guided officers approximately 3 miles away from the ditch to the Yellow Medicine River, which was running with great speed and volume before the scent of Swanson was no longer detectable. Swanson's personal belongings or clothing were not found along the route to the river or within the 2-mile section of the river, which typically takes approximately 6 hours to traverse. During a span of 3 weeks, search and cadaver dogs were unable to locate any items or remains. Swanson had mysteriously disappeared into the remote agricultural areas and secondary highways of Minnesota. In late 2008, Emergency Support Services, a search and rescue organization headquartered in Minneapolis, designated a specific area of 140 square miles as their primary target for search operations. Nevertheless, several farmers declined to grant access to search hounds on their property, especially during the periods of planting and harvest, resulting in substantial gaps in the search for Swanson. The problem continues unabated up until the present time. While others speculate that Swanson may have fallen into the river and been carried away by the current, investigators consider this scenario doubtful due to the fact that his body was never found. In a similar manner, if Swanson had accidentally fallen into the river, successfully made his way back to solid ground, and eventually passed away from hypothermia, a trained dog that detects humans would probably have picked up on his odor. According to news outlets, Swanson's mother expressed skepticism regarding this outcome, as a tracking dog had traced Swanson's smell from his car to an abandoned farm over a lengthy gravel path. The trace, which spanned a distance of 3 miles, also extended to the river. At first, the dog sprang into the water, then promptly returned to land and proceeded to follow another gravel route until it could no longer detect Swanson's scent. In autumn 2021, the Yellow Medicine River experienced desiccation due to a severe drought, prompting law enforcement to conduct an unfruitful excavation. The case of Swanson has not gone cold due to the ongoing receipt of tips by law enforcement. As of right now, no tangible evidence pertaining to Brandon Swanson has been found, such as his mobile phone, car keys, or clothing. Consequently, his parents are left just with recollections and the haunting memory of his final phone conversation. The mysterious disappearance of Brian Schaffer. Brian Schaffer, a 27-year-old medical student at Ohio State University, disappeared on April 1, 2006, after being recorded by surveillance cameras entering the Ugly Tuna Saloona. Brian Schaffer, a second-year medical student at Ohio State, had a promising future. However, everything took a different turn when a night out to commemorate the start of spring break resulted in his sudden vanishing. Brian Schaffer mysteriously disappeared after casually visiting many bars with his flatmate in the presence of numerous bar patrons shortly before 2 a.m. Schaffer expressed to his peers that his true aim was to establish a musical group. He was attracted to the tropical lifestyle associated with Jimmy Buffett and had such a strong admiration for Pearl Jam that he got their insignia permanently inked on his bicep. He encountered his girlfriend, Alexis Wagoner, in 2006. Additionally, she was a second-year student at medical school. The individuals in the couple's inner circle were under the impression that he intended to propose to her during their scheduled spring break vacation in Miami, which occurred shortly before Schaffer went missing. In 2006, Brian Schaffer's family experienced their first loss when his mother succumbed to bone cancer. On March 31, 2006, Brian Schaffer and his roommate William Clint Florence went to the Ugly Tuna Saloona pub in Columbus's University District to relax after their spring finals. At approximately 10 in the evening, Schaffer contacted his girlfriend to verify their travel plans and express his affection for her. Following the consumption of alcoholic drinks at the Ugly Tuna, the two individuals leisurely walked to the Arena district and short north. There, they encountered Meredith Reed, a friend of Florence's, who kindly volunteered to provide transportation back to the Ugly Tuna. According to the security tape outside the Ugly Tuna, it was determined that all three individuals used the escalator to reach the bar's door on the second floor around 1:15 in the morning. Schaffer inexplicably appeared outside before 2 in the morning and was observed engaging in casual conversation with two women in their 20s before disappearing. Florence and Reed attempted to contact him multiple times, but were unsuccessful, and subsequently returned home upon the closure of the bar. Throughout the whole weekend, Randy Schaffer and Wagoner made multiple attempts to contact him, but he did not respond to any of their calls. Brian failed to catch his flight on Monday morning. On that day, he was officially classified as a missing person. During the initial days of his absence, a maximum of 50 police officers conducted a search for him simultaneously. All of Schaffer's friends and relatives, with the exception of his flatmate who declined, were interrogated and successfully cleared lie detector tests. Curiously, the two women with whom he was observed conversing were not requested to undergo testing. According to reports, Wagoner made a daily attempt to contact him on his mobile, but it consistently remained unanswered and went directly to voicemail. However, on one particular night in September, his phone really rang 3 times. However, Schaffer's wireless provider said that the issue could have been caused by a computer malfunction. Furthermore, his phone lacked GPS capabilities, rendering its whereabouts indeterminable. However, a signal from the phone was identified at a cellular tower situated 14 miles northwest of Columbus. Despite the information available, the Columbus Police Department remained perplexed by the case of Brian Schaffer's disappearance, even though Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam mentioned it during a show in Cincinnati. The conclusive video footage captured by the security cameras at the Ugly Tuna unequivocally depicted Brian Schaffer stepping away from the camera's view and then returning towards the door of the pub, after which he vanished completely. It is plausible that the cameras inadvertently failed to capture Schaffer's departure from the scene. However, one camera executed a continuous panning motion while the other was operated manually. In addition to another exit, the bar also had an exit that led to a disorderly construction site. Investigators then speculated whether Schaffer's disappearance was intentional. He had the option to alter his attire or depart by the exit that connected to the building site. However, Schaffer's family has consistently maintained that there was no reason for him to fabricate his disappearance. Furthermore, it appeared that he had a greater number of positive experiences to anticipate rather than to evade. When Brian Schaffer's credit cards, bank accounts, and cell phone were unused for over a year, his family started to doubt his survival. Schaffer's sole surviving family member is his younger brother, who is currently engaged in the ongoing effort to locate him. In 2020, a glimmer of hope emerged and quickly faded when a photograph of an individual, appearing to be an American guy living without a home in Mexico, surfaced and gained widespread attention due to his striking likeness to Schaffer. Following meticulous face analysis, the FBI concluded that it was not him. As of right now, Schaffer has not been seen or heard from since. 2 huge cigar-shaped UFOs hovering above California. In the evening of December 23, 2020, residents of Orange County, a region in Southern California known for its sunny beaches and vibrant communities, were greeted with a sight that left many questioning their eyes and the boundaries of reality. During the night, 2 massive, bright, cigar-shaped objects were photographed, hovering silently in the sky above the county. The strange sighting, which quickly became the talk of the town, sparked a flurry of speculation, intrigue, and debate about what exactly these unidentified flying objects were and where they might have come from. The late night of December 23rd was unremarkable in many ways. However, as the night rolled in, several eyewitnesses noticed something highly unusual. 2 enormous, cigar-shaped objects were suspended in the sky, shining brightly. The objects were described as long and cylindrical, with smooth surfaces and no discernible wings, tails, or engines. Witnesses quickly grabbed their cameras and phones to capture the strange phenomenon, resulting in a series of photographs that would soon circulate widely online. The images clearly showed the 2 objects hovering at a significant altitude, side by side, with a calm and steady presence. Unlike conventional aircraft, these objects emitted no sound, and their hovering behavior defied the laws of aerodynamics as understood by modern science. The sightings were reported by multiple individuals from different parts of Orange County, adding credibility to the accounts. People described a sense of awe and confusion, unsure of what they were witnessing, but certain that it was something out of the ordinary. As the morning progressed, the objects remained visible for some time before suddenly accelerating at incredible speeds, vanishing from sight as abruptly as they had appeared. The photographs taken by witnesses provide some of the most compelling evidence of the sighting. In the images, the two cigar-shaped objects stand out against the morning sky, their sleek, elongated forms unmistakably distinct from the clouds and other atmospheric features. The objects appear metallic, reflecting light in a way that suggests they are made of a material not commonly seen in conventional aircraft. Experts and enthusiasts alike have analyzed the photographs, looking for clues that might explain the nature of these objects. Some have pointed out that the cigar shape is a recurring theme in UFO sightings, often associated with large, advanced craft that are possibly of extraterrestrial origin. The fact that these objects were seen in tandem, hovering in close proximity to each other, adds another layer of mystery, suggesting a coordinated presence rather than random or isolated incidents. One of the most striking aspects of the photographs is the apparent size of the objects. Witnesses estimated that the UFOs were each several hundred feet in length, making them significantly larger than any known aircraft. Their sheer scale, combined with their silent hovering, challenges conventional explanations and points to the possibility that these objects were not of human origin. As news of the sighting spread, various theories emerged in an attempt to explain the phenomenon. The most common and immediate suggestion was that the objects were some form of advanced military aircraft, possibly undergoing secret testing. Given Orange County's proximity to several military installations and aerospace companies, this theory seemed plausible to some. However, the lack of visible propulsion systems, the silent operation, and the unprecedented speed at which the objects departed make this explanation difficult to accept. Another theory posited that the objects were drones, perhaps part of a large-scale operation or an elaborate hoax. However, the size and behavior of the objects make this explanation unlikely, as current drone technology cannot replicate the characteristics observed during the sighting. The possibility that the objects were atmospheric phenomena or optical illusions was also considered. Some skeptics suggested that the cigar-shaped UFOs could have been elongated clouds. However, this theory fails to account for the consistency of the sightings from multiple locations, the sharpness of the objects' outlines in the photographs, and their sudden, coordinated departure. For many, the most intriguing theory is that the objects were extraterrestrial in origin. The cigar shape, which has been reported in numerous UFO sightings around the world, is often associated with large interstellar craft. The idea that these objects could be visiting Earth, possibly observing or studying human activity, captures the imagination and aligns with the broader narrative of UFO sightings and encounters reported throughout history. The incident also highlights the importance of keeping an open mind when encountering the unknown. While it is easy to dismiss such sightings as mere illusions or misunderstandings, the consistent and credible accounts from multiple witnesses suggest that something extraordinary did occur that morning in Orange County. The Ilkley Moor incident. Many have often referred to the Ilkley Moor incident as one of the most compelling pieces of evidence surrounding the claims of encounters with advanced beings. This is due, in part, to the photographic evidence that had been gathered of the event by the witness that claimed he had later been taken by the beings he had encountered. According to the report, a man by the name of Philip Spencer had moved to the West Yorkshire area after leaving his old job to be closer with his family. Prior to this move, Philip Spencer had worked as a police officer for more than 4 years and was more than respected as a hard-working and honest citizen. During his move to West Yorkshire, he had noticed a strange number of lights often seen in the fog. Many others would confirm their sightings of these strange lights as well, but would often retort that it was probably lights from airplanes flying around the military bases and airports nearby. These strange claims led Philip Spencer to buy a high-end camera at the time in the attempt to gather evidence of these foggy lights and look into the increasingly weird rumors being told throughout the area. As Philip Spencer then went out the next day in the early morning to capture some pictures, he began to notice that some strange figure was following him in the fog. He would then quickly snap a photo of the creature, only to find that it was a small humanoid, almost alien-like creature that had been running through the fog near him. Without thinking, he chased the entity until he noticed a large dome-shaped aerial craft lift from the ground near him and take off into the sky. It wasn't long before Philip Spencer then began running back into town, noticing that more than an hour had gone missing between his sighting of the craft and the moments shortly after it disappeared. Today, the picture taken proves to be one of the biggest pieces of evidence that the encounter was genuine. Additionally, many have claimed that the lost amount of time experienced by Spencer may have been an event that was later wiped from his memory after the encounter, shrouding that time in complete mystery. The catacombs have always been a subject of intrigue, especially after a recent photograph surfaced on social media. The image, captured by a man during his expedition into the depths of the catacombs, unveiled a startling anomaly, a humanoid figure lurking within the tunnels. Given the eerie reputation of the catacombs of Paris, rumoured to house the remains of over 6 million individuals, it comes as no surprise that such mysterious occurrences are attributed to this enigmatic underground realm. The chilling revelation in the photograph casts a captivating veil of mystery over the catacombs, inviting contemplation of the spectral lore surrounding this subterranean labyrinth. Upon viewing the images, observers claimed to discern a figure resembling a human, affirming its resemblance to the enigmatic shadow people, the frequently witnessed spectral beings of paranormal lore. The precise nature of these entities remains a topic of conjecture. Descriptions depict the shadow people as amorphous dark entities, often spotted in proximity to reputedly haunted items or sites associated with tragic events. Witnesses commonly report an overwhelming sense of dread upon encountering them, accompanied by a perceived draining of energy, leaving behind an aura of darkness. Accounts diverge on their ocular appearance, with some attributing glowing red eyes to these entities, while others describe them as possessing entirely black orbs. Their motives remain shrouded in mystery, with those who have encountered them expressing a sense of malevolence. The historical background of the region plays a crucial role in comprehending the nature of this phenomenon and the reasons behind the widespread unease associated with visiting the catacombs. With the urban population expanding, the mortality rate also rose significantly. It became evident to both the authorities and inhabitants of the area that the existing cemeteries were experiencing severe overcrowding, posing a substantial challenge for religious communities and public health. This led to a situation where those responsible for handling the deceased were unable to carry out appropriate burial rituals, provoking discontent among local religious factions. Furthermore, the exposure of bodies to the elements, and at times their incomplete burial, contributed to the spread of diseases, exacerbating the prevailing concerns. The issues mentioned earlier prompted the development of the catacombs, extensive networks of tunnels and chambers carved beneath the city to serve as an extensive and seemingly endless burial ground for the deceased. What makes this particularly unsettling is the practice of using human bones for decorative purposes, arranging them in seemingly never-ending rows along the tunnel walls. It is estimated that approximately 6 million individuals' remains are interred within the catacombs, and this number continues to rise with the ongoing discovery of new chambers, passageways, and sections within this subterranean necropolis. The realm of unexplained phenomena contains various entities that captivate curiosity, and among these, shadow people stand out. These enigmatic beings are often depicted as dark, human-like figures that swiftly traverse one's peripheral vision before vanishing into obscurity. While skeptics attribute these sightings to optical illusions or psychological effects, the numerous testimonies and eerie encounters surrounding shadow people suggest that there may be more to their existence than mere products of the mind. This spurs a profound inquiry into the validity and significance of these encounters within the sphere of unexplained phenomena. The notion of dark, sinister creatures is not limited to contemporary supernatural tales. It has profound historical and cultural origins. Across the globe, diverse societies have developed their unique perspectives on shadowy beings, frequently intertwined with traditional tales, legends, or mystical convictions. These manifestations often carry significant cultural and symbolic significance, reflecting the intricate relationship between human beliefs and the enigmatic realm of the supernatural. In various Native American cultures, the concept of shadow beings is deeply intertwined with age-old folklore and mythology. Within certain tribes, there is a firm belief in the presence of entities known as stick figures, enigmatic and shadowy figures reputed to inhabit the depths of the forests. These beings are rumored to have a propensity for seizing children or wanderers who stray too deep into the wilderness. In European folklore, there exists a long-standing association between shadow figures and a diverse range of supernatural entities. One such enigmatic entity is the notorious Hat Man, a dark, shadowy figure characterized by the presence of a wide-brimmed hat. Reports of encounters with this mysterious entity transcend various cultures, and it is frequently linked with malevolent intentions, adding to its enigmatic nature. Shadow people are often portrayed as obscure, shadowy figures that bear a resemblance to the human shape, characterized by an absence of identifiable facial features, clothing, or distinctive characteristics, contributing to their unsettling and mysterious essence. One of the most striking characteristics of shadow people is their remarkable ability to move swiftly and silently. Observers frequently describe these entities as smoothly gliding or darting across the room with an extraordinary velocity that appears to contradict the traditional laws of physics. The movement of shadow people, often described as rapid and noiseless, defies the conventional understanding of physical motion. This distinctive attribute sets them apart and leaves a lasting impression on those who have encountered them. Shadow entities, commonly known as shadow people, exhibit a peculiar propensity to abruptly and inexplicably disappear, often dissipating into walls, floors, or the darkness itself. This enigmatic vanishing act routinely elicits a deep sense of confusion and disquiet among those who bear witness to such occurrences. The frequency of encounters with shadow people is considerably more common than one might anticipate. A multitude of people from diverse backgrounds have recounted their experiences, and these encounters typically take place during periods of vulnerability, including instances of sleep paralysis, lack of sleep, or heightened levels of stress and anxiety. The phenomenon extends across a broad spectrum of individuals, underscoring its pervasive nature. It occurs with significant prevalence and is not confined to any specific group or demographic. This widespread occurrence underscores the need for a deeper understanding of the underlying factors contributing to these experiences. Numerous accounts of shadow people sightings coincide with instances of sleep paralysis, a phenomenon characterized by a temporary inability to move or speak while retaining full consciousness. Individuals experiencing sleep paralysis frequently recount encountering dark, shadowy apparitions in their living spaces, intensifying feelings of fear and unease. This intriguing correlation between sleep paralysis and reported shadow people encounters has sparked widespread interest in exploring the intricacies of these experiences and their potential psychological and physiological underpinnings. Shadow people are often linked to unsettling experiences such as nightmares and night terrors. Individuals recount being startled from their sleep in the dead of night, feeling completely immobilized by dread, while they observe indistinct, shadow-like figures in their sleeping quarters or lingering ominously over their sleeping space. The phenomenon of shadow people has garnered considerable interest, sparking discussions and investigations, particularly in the context of paranormal occurrences and during the transitional phases between wakefulness and sleep, namely hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations. Individuals often report encounters with shadow people. As they transition in and out of slumber, witnesses may discern dark, phantom-like figures manifesting in their bedroom surroundings. These eerie apparitions are commonly observed during these states of altered consciousness. The concept of shadow people is deeply entrenched in the realm of the paranormal for certain individuals. Advocates assert that these entities are of supernatural origin, potentially interdimensional travelers, or even malevolent spirits. The apprehension associated with shadow people finds its origins in the intrinsic human inclination to react to unsettling and mysterious phenomena. The mere presence of something that eludes logical explanation and disrupts our grasp of reality invokes a primal fear within us. The uncanny nature of shadow people, characterized by their unsettling appearance and unnatural behavior, positions them as enigmatic entities that challenge conventional comprehension, thereby leaving those who encounter them overwhelmed with an intense feeling of dread. This fear of the unknown and the eerie presence of shadow people deeply ingrains itself within the depths of the human psyche, giving rise to an unshakable sense of unease and trepidation. Shadow people are frequently depicted as obscure, shadowy entities without defined characteristics or facial expressions. The lack of identifiable countenances or motives often leaves observers feeling unsure and uneasy. The dread of the unknown, the ambiguity of what lurks within the darkness, intensifies the fear encountered in these situations. This can lead to a profound sense of disquiet and trepidation, as individuals grapple with the enigma shrouded in darkness, igniting deep-seated fears and apprehensions. The entities known as shadow people have the perplexing ability to blur the lines between what is real and what is not within our understanding of the world. Their unexpected manifestations in ordinary situations pose a direct challenge to the reliability of our familiar environment. As a result, the unsettling intrusion into one's feelings of security and assurance significantly fuels the profound apprehension felt when encountering these enigmatic beings. The anxiety surrounding shadow people is closely linked with a wider apprehension of the paranormal. Observers frequently perceive these experiences as interactions with beings that violate conventional laws and reasoning. This apprehension originates from a fundamental belief in the limitations of the tangible world and the enigmatic domains that lie beyond. Those who encounter shadow people often interpret these experiences as encounters with entities that transcend the laws of nature, evoking a profound sense of unease and mystery. The existence of paranormal occurrences, such as shadow people, presents a formidable challenge to our comprehension of the world as we know it. Those who have witnessed these phenomena often find themselves wrestling with the ambiguity surrounding the nature of their experience, pondering whether they have come face to face with spirits, beings from alternate dimensions, or entities of an entirely uncharted realm. This pervasive sense of uncertainty further fuels their apprehension as they grapple with the daunting task of rationalizing the inexplicable. An encounter with shadow people often evokes feelings of malevolence or hostility among those who experience it. Observers often perceive these entities as more than just passive apparitions, attributing harmful intentions to them. This sense of malevolence intensifies the emotional resonance of the encounter, adding to the depth of unease and fear experienced by witnesses. Encounters with shadow people commonly evoke sensations of helplessness and a state of paralysis. Individuals often describe instances of experiencing sleep paralysis, a phenomenon characterized by temporary immobility and speechlessness despite being fully awake. This feeling of vulnerability significantly heightens the fear that accompanies encounters with shadow people. The encounters with these shadowy apparitions often reinforce the individual's sense of being defenseless, amplifying the overall distress experienced in such situations. The heightened sense of fear during encounters with shadow people is often intensified by the feeling of losing control over one's own body and surroundings. Those who witness these enigmatic entities may experience a profound sense of powerlessness as they struggle to find a means of escape or self-protection, further contributing to their vulnerability in such situations. The fear related to encounters with shadow people is influenced by cultural beliefs and tales about malevolent spirits or mysterious beings. When individuals experience such encounters, they often interpret them in the context of these cultural narratives, which serves to intensify their fear. During encounters with shadow people, fear can act as a form of coping mechanism. When faced with the incomprehensible and the mysterious, fear triggers the body's fight-or-flight response, equipping individuals to respond to potential dangers. Although fear may induce discomfort, it serves as a survival mechanism intended to intensify vigilance and attentiveness, ultimately enhancing the ability to survive and respond to threatening situations. An individual on a social media platform has shared that they devoted an extensive amount of time to meticulously examining historical documents, delving into maps, and scrutinizing satellite imagery, all in an effort to uncover the enigmatic mysteries of bygone eras. Unbeknownst to him, a momentous shift awaited in his life on that particular day, completely altering its trajectory in an unforeseen manner. On a chilly winter evening, As he delved into the depths of the internet in search of captivating satellite images, he chanced upon a photograph that truly captivated him. The aerial photograph, taken from an elevated position above Mount Ararat, revealed a massive edifice with a form that evoked the fabled Noah's Ark. The structure was of significant proportions and bore a striking resemblance to the renowned boat. The ark-like formation appeared to be emerging from the slowly melting ice and snow that had enshrouded Mount Ararat for centuries. Deeply conscious of the mountain's historical importance, which has long been regarded as the possible location of the biblical ark, he encountered an image that appeared to offer indisputable evidence, thanks to modern technology, suggesting the potential existence of the ark. This discovery held monumental significance, as it challenged prior skepticism and encouraged a fresh exploration of the mountain's legacy. The blend of historical belief and modern evidence presented a compelling narrative, igniting widespread curiosity and prompting others to join in. Unable to dismiss the possibility that he had stumbled upon a profound historical find, he embarked on a quest to verify the authenticity of the satellite image. He contacted experts in the fields of archaeology, geology, and remote sensing, eager to gather their insights and opinions. Researchers from around the globe are instantly captivated by the image. Some were skeptical, dismissing it as a natural geological formation, while others were intrigued by the possibility that this could be the evidence they had long sought. The discovery becomes even more intriguing due to the long-standing historical connection between Mount Ararat in eastern Turkey and the reputed resting place of the legendary Ark. For centuries, the location has been linked to the final resting place of the Ark, adding depth to the historical and cultural significance of this revelation. While the biblical narrative has been a source of inspiration, it has also sparked debate and skepticism. Mount Ararat, an imposing and majestic dormant volcano with an elevation exceeding 16,000 feet, has been enshrouded in enigma and folklore for centuries. According to biblical accounts, it is believed to be the landing site of the Ark following the Great Flood, symbolizing optimism and rejuvenation. The narrative chronicling Noah, his kin, and the animals they safeguarded holds pivotal significance in the realms of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, encompassing a profound and timeless tale of resilience, faith, and salvation. Moreover, this enigmatic mount has inspired countless expeditions, theological debates, and scholarly investigations, evoking a profound sense of awe and fascination among both religious adherents and academic circles. Over the course of centuries, an extensive number of explorers, thrill-seekers, and religious travelers have embarked on expeditions to Mount Ararat with the intent of finding proof validating the presence of Noah's Ark. Although several individuals asserted they had come across remains of the Ark, their discoveries have frequently been met with doubt because of the absence of conclusive evidence. These pursuits have sparked widespread interest and debate, with people across different cultures and backgrounds expressing a strong curiosity about the potential discovery of such a significant historical artifact. One of the prevalent hypotheses regarding the occurrence of the Great Flood suggests that it might have been the result of a natural calamity, potentially triggered by a significant meteor or comet impact, a colossal earthquake, or a volcanic eruption. This theory denotes that the cataclysmic event was a consequence of substantial geological or extraterrestrial forces, leading to widespread devastation and inundation. According to this particular theory, the inundation would have been attributed to the melting of ice caps or extensive rainfall. This catastrophic event would have submerged extensive land areas, resulting in the destruction of entire civilizations and the decimation of a substantial portion of the world's plant and animal life. The inundation, as proposed by this hypothesis, could have had far-reaching consequences for the global ecosystem and human settlements. Another perspective posits that the Great Flood may have been a figurative or allegorical occurrence, intended to symbolize a spiritual or philosophical variety rather than a factual event. In line with this perspective, the deluge signifies a global purification or rebirth, akin to a spiritual cleansing that eradicates the transgressions and flaws of mankind, consequently paving the way for a fresh start. This interpretation emphasizes the profound significance of the flood beyond its historical interpretation, delving into its symbolic implications that hold a deep spiritual and philosophical meaning. Some researchers specializing in historical accounts and archaeological findings have posited the idea that the narrative depicting the Great Flood might have been influenced by an actual occurrence rooted in history, potentially linked to the submersion of the Black Sea approximately 7,500 years ago. Regarded as a catastrophic incident, it is thought to have decimated numerous coastal communities and compelled a large populace to seek refuge in elevated areas. This distressing event is believed to have acted as a catalyst, potentially giving rise to a plethora of deluge-related folklore and myths across different cultures around the world. This comprehensive evaluation sheds light on the potential correlations between historical realities and the genesis of legendary tales about cataclysmic floods. The Great Flood is speculated by another theory to potentially stem from a cultural recollection of the conclusion of the last ice age. This period likely brought about substantial transformations in the Earth's climate, sea levels, and geographical features. According to this line of thought, the narratives of a flood could have served as a means for early civilizations to make sense of these alterations and endeavor to comprehend their own significance within the world. This perspective delves deeply into the profound implications of how ancient societies may have sought to interpret and understand the monumental shifts that occurred during that era. Irrespective of the underlying cause or source of the Great Flood, it persists as a potent and timeless myth that captivates individuals from diverse cultures and successive eras. The concept of a catastrophic occurrence leading to the annihilation of civilizations and paving the way for a fresh start serves as a compelling symbol of optimism and rejuvenation. Furthermore, it continues to stimulate the creativity and intellectual pursuits of writers, artists, and scholars in contemporary times. The enduring allure of this myth lies in its ability to transcend cultural boundaries and continually provoke contemplation and artistic expression. The anomaly's initial sighting can be traced back to the 1950s, when a Turkish airline pilot observed an unusual object on the mountain during a flight. Subsequently, numerous expeditions were launched to explore the anomaly, yet none yielded conclusive evidence regarding its existence or characteristics. These investigations piqued substantial interest and intrigue among researchers and enthusiasts, leading to extensive deliberations and speculation about the enigma. Despite concerted efforts, the unyielding mystery surrounding the anomaly has persisted for decades, captivating the imagination of many and fueling ongoing discussions about its potential origins and significance. In the 1970s, researchers from Turkey and the United States, led by Ron Wyatt, made the bold assertion that they had unearthed the remnants of Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. Their account detailed the unearthing of a massive, boat-like structure that lay entombed within the ice and boulders in close proximity to the peak of the mountain. According to the researchers, the structure perfectly matched the dimensions specified in the Bible for Noah's Ark, and it was constructed from a type of wood capable of enduring the harsh conditions of the mountain for millennia. This discovery sparked considerable debate and conjecture within both the religious and archaeological communities, igniting a fervent discussion about the authenticity and implications of the find. The assertions put forth by Wyatt and his group were received with doubt and dispute due to the absence of concrete proof substantiating their discoveries. Critics contended that the formation they identified might possibly be a naturally occurring rock configuration or a deposit from glacial activity. Additionally, they highlighted that the measurements they conducted did not align with the dimensions outlined in the Bible's depiction of the Ark. This controversy sparked extensive debate and raised critical questions regarding the validity of the purported discovery. Since that time, numerous subsequent missions have endeavored to explore the Mount Ararat anomaly and reveal its genuine characteristics. A variety of approaches have been employed, including the utilization of ground-penetrating radar and other cutting-edge technologies for both surface and subsurface scanning, as well as the application of conventional techniques like hiking and climbing. Despite extensive research and investigation spanning decades, the enigma of the Mount Ararat anomaly persists, lacking definitive proof to validate or dismiss its alleged identity as Noah's Ark. This enduring controversy and intrigue have spurred a multitude of conjectures and hypotheses, encompassing a wide spectrum from the mystical to the empirical. The anomaly's enduring aura of fascination has engendered an assortment of theories and suppositions, perpetuating the discourse and lending to its multifaceted nature. The Mount Ararat anomaly, situated on Mount Ararat, has been a subject of extensive debate and contention, captivating the fascination of individuals for numerous years. Some assert it to be the remnants of Noah's Ark, while others posit that it is a naturally occurring formation or a figment of human imagination. Despite the ongoing dispute regarding its true essence, the anomaly remains a source of profound interest and intrigue, particularly for those who are driven to unveil the enigmas of the ancient world. Its mysterious presence continues to fuel the imagination and curiosity of many, serving as a testament to the enduring allure of historical mysteries and the quest for knowledge. The narrative of Noah's Ark, found in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament of the Bible, recounts the account of Noah, a man who, according to the biblical story, received a divine instruction to construct a massive vessel to safeguard himself, his family, and pairs of all animal species from an apocalyptic deluge. This enduring tale has captivated individuals from diverse cultures and age groups for centuries, reflecting its universal appeal. The depth of the story encompasses the divine directive, the meticulous construction of the ark, and the preservation of various species from the catastrophic flood, rendering it a subject of fascination and enduring interest. In the biblical narrative, the decision to initiate a deluge upon the earth stemmed from God's observation of the widespread wickedness and moral corruption among the people. In light of this, God singled out Noah, a man of great righteousness, to construct a substantial vessel known as an ark. The primary purpose of this ark was to safeguard not only Noah and his kin, but also a pair of each animal species. Displaying unwavering obedience to God's directives, Noah diligently erected an ark of colossal proportions, measuring 300 cubits in length, 50 cubits in width, and 30 cubits in height. Subsequently, he meticulously assembled not only the animals, but also his family, ensuring they were all safely accommodated within the ark. Such a narrative epitomizes the profound account of God's judgment, Noah's obedience, and the preservation of life amidst cataclysmic events. The precipitation commenced, leading to the surge of floodwaters that engulfed the entire planet. Despite this deluge, the ark remained buoyant, ensuring the safety of all on board. Subsequent to enduring 40 consecutive days and nights of rainfall, the downpour ceased and the floodwaters gradually subsided. Noah released a dove in search of dry land, and ultimately, the ark found its resting place atop Mount Ararat. Soon after, Noah and his family disembarked, initiating the process of repopulating the earth. This narrative illustrates the biblical account of the Great Flood, emphasizing the perseverance and salvation of Noah and his kin. The narrative of Noah's Ark holds a significant place in popular culture, drawing considerable attention from scholars and enthusiasts alike who seek evidence to validate its portrayal in the Bible. Despite claims of discovering remnants attributed to the Ark, none have withstood the test of verification. Some experts posit that the tale of Noah's Ark may have origins in earlier flood narratives prevalent in ancient societies. According to this viewpoint, the account serves as a vehicle for imparting moral guidance on the repercussions of transgressions and the significance of unwavering faith and adherence to divine directives. The tale of Noah's Ark, irrespective of its historical roots, has deeply fascinated individuals globally. This captivating narrative has served as the focal point of numerous literary works, films, and various media platforms. Although diverse cultures have interpreted the story differently, it remains a potent symbol representing optimism, spirituality, and renewal. The narrative continues to resonate across different societies, emphasizing the enduring significance of perseverance, unwavering faith, and ultimate deliverance.